He's the founder of the Labor Room. It's an initiative that looks at mentoring people, but he'll be talking about it in detail. And so these are the people that I have this evening. Lady and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And of course, it goes without saying that, ladies first. I'll begin with Juanita here. Yes, Juanita, welcome. I know actually, all of you, it's the first time here.
Yes.
It's the first time, and we welcome you to UBC. We're glad that you actually chose to, come and talk to the nation, come and talk to East Africans, come and talk to the world in general about, purpose and leadership, because not everybody really understands what their purpose in life is. I'll begin with you, Juanita. Yes, PLF, first tell us about PLF, Purpose and Leadership Forum. Why Purpose and Leadership Forum?
Thank you very much, Edward. The Purpose and Leadership Forum that I run in this country, PLF in short, that's the common name. It does one thing. It draws out potential from everybody that we come across, and it gets us in a space of discovering ourselves and why we were created by God. So it helps us discover why we exist, So the Purpose and Leadership Forum draws potential. It's a 12-week course that we do to just draw potential out of leaders and get them to establish their purpose and how that fits into the garden of life. That's what you call it. So that's what we do. And we help people, we introduce people to themselves, if you know what I mean. We help people understand why they are here and walk that through life experiences, and it's also a faith-founded thing. So we run it as a background of Christianity, but it helps draw out potential and help people to understand why they are here. When someone, probably the viewer watching right now, hears Purpose and Leadership Forum, one can ask themselves, why did you even think about it? Did you see there was something about our leaders, our leadership in the country that was amiss, and you thought from a biblical point of view this could help out? I fully believe that whatever it is that we do, or whatever reason there is for us to exist, comes from our Creator. That's why we are faith-founded. I believe that we were not created to pass time. We were not created to survive. We were created to add value somehow. So I believe everyone is a solution to something. So how do you discover what solution is you're meant to solve in the garden of life? That's what we do. So we cannot, and when you discover purpose, you live with from a place of alignment, from a place of satisfaction, from a place of adding value to society. And I think that's what leaders are. Leaders. The three things that leaders do is they know the way, so you have knowledge about where you're going. You do the way, so you demonstrate. And then you show the way, then you mentor and pass knowledge. So if you don't know why you exist, you cannot lead. And that's where it comes from, a place of you can't govern anyone else before you govern yourself. You can't show anyone purpose before you actually demonstrate that yourself. So the role of this is to really draw purpose from leaders so that they're able to purposefully lead the rest of the people. And that's what you do.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Very, very important because it's really, difficult to some people to really understand what their purpose is. And I'll be coming back to you because we really need to get to understand what is one's purpose in life.
Sure.
How do you know that actually this is the purpose why I was created, to be in this world? But let me go to Dr. Etiang. Of course, you're a doctor as it is, and you're a preacher. You're also a businessman. But today you find that it's rare. Should I say it's rare? It's not so common to find someone of your calling actually also having the time, to talk to the nation, to tell them as leaders you can also be a good leader, but doing it the biblical way. Tell us your story.
Well, mine has been a journey with God, and I think every man, every human being needs an encounter with God, because when you encounter God, it is the turning point of life. That is where actual life starts. You know, people leave, but they don't even know where they're going, where they're heading to, why they're here. But when you encounter God, when you have a meeting with God, you find out why you are here, and life has meaning. For me, without God, there is no life, because God is life. The Bible, which I believe in,
And which you have actually carried.
which I've actually carried here on the desk here,
Yes.
says that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. So purpose starts with Jesus, because he's the way. You heard Juanita saying that leaders know the way. They see the way, they lead the way, they know the way. The Bible says that Jesus is the way and Jesus is the truth. I found out that the truth of life is Jesus, and the way of life is Jesus. And when you encounter Jesus, you discover why you are here on this earth. And life has new meaning. When I wake up every morning, I am motivated to get up and do what I do, because I know that I am not here by accident. A lot of people here are living the grind. They wake up in the morning, they come to work, and life is so boring. And that goes for all sectors of life. It doesn't matter whether you're a preacher, or you're a border rider, or you're a taxi driver, or you're a mother in a home, or a father in a home, or a headmaster in a school. If your life has no meaning, if your life has no Jesus, then it has no taste.
Very, very interesting there, Dr. Etiang. And of course, that is actually, it answers, what I had actually wanted to ask. And of course, that is it really necessary? Is it necessary for people to go through, divine encounters in normal life? But I think you just answered it. Do you have something to add there, Juanita? Do you think it is necessary for people to go, through divine encounters in normal life?
I think it's not an option not to go through a divine encounter. Why? Because only your Creator will know your purpose. So if you've not had an encounter with your Creator, you have no business looking for your purpose, because you won't find it. So until you have an encounter with your Creator, like Dr. Etiang said, that you have no reason to, you have no business living, because then you're not living, you're surviving. Yeah, and until you get in that space of, this is because God created us, at least somehow I hope we all believe that we were created by God. I don't know what others believe, but I believe I was created by God. So only the creator of Edward knows why he created Edward. So until you get in the space of having that relationship with your Creator, then you are able to establish purpose. That's why Doctor was saying, until you have that encounter with Jesus Christ, if you believe he created you, until then, only until then you have no business discussing purpose, because you don't know and you'll never find out.
Thank you so much. Let me go to Chris. Yes, you've been silent and listening to these two panelists here, but you are initiated the labor room. Now, me as a layperson, probably the one watching right now, labor room is associated to hospitals. You go there and a lady goes there when they're expecting and they give birth. So, what is this? What's the labor room? What are we bathing there?
Yes, rightly said that. It's very good that you say that. I'm actually moving with the two of them, and I'm coming to the labor room. But so the labor room, first of all, is a platform that is bringing together mentors in the marketplace in various areas of disciplines, and these mentors are bringing out purpose in individuals, and this is a big thing that is lacking in some of our in our spaces. So the labor room is actually helping you to birth yourself, birth purpose, because I first encountered this in the PLF program, and my life totally changed. So I started this, I bought this vision from understanding actually that I even had a gift. Naturally, I'm a coach actually, I do sports,
Wow.
and
All kinds of sport or specific one?
football, volleyball, and but what we've been doing is to mentor people, because when you don't mentor people, then there is no continuity. And one greatest thing that I learned in this PLF program is that purpose is not about yourself. Purpose is bigger than you. It's more about others, and this is the mentality that every leader must have. And when you have that, then you have to, and this is not just in church. This is in the marketplace, this is in homes, everywhere. And so this, the anchor scripture for the labor room is Romans 8:19, which talks about
Romans 8:19. Okay.
Yeah, basically to paraphrase it is that the earth is suffering because the sons of God are not revealed. And so the biggest issue that we have is that people have a servant mentality. So a servant mentality is take for example your house help. They're just there to earn a living and tomorrow they go. But when you're a son, you know that you're here to stay. So everything that you do has, you're contributing and there's ownership. And these elements are greatly and grossly lacking. And I think with the labor room coming in, we are going to even bring patriotism in this beloved country of ours, because then people, just imagine if you're created, for example, to be a fork, and then you're working as a knife, you will take maybe the whole day trying to cut 1 kilo of meat. That is very frustrating.
Difficult and frustrating.
Very frustrating. And so it's very critical to know what you were made to be by your creator, and that's what I call birthing. Now we're birthing purposes and also teaching people how to live in the right principles. And therefore, yeah.
Thank you so much, Chris. And of course, the next question, I think anybody here can answer this, because it cuts across. And of course, we have the labor room, PLF, but one would ask, we're actually looking at yes, we have these initiatives, very good initiatives, but what are we trying to help in as far as our communities are concerned? What are we trying to solve? I'll begin with you, Chris.
Yes. One fundamental thing we learned in PLF is that we are a Joseph generation, which means we are called to bring solutions to the earth. That is coming from the story of Joseph, who went and, because he knew who he was in God, finally God placed him in a space that he was able to actually bring a solution to both his family and the whole earth at that time. So when someone discovers who they are, and remember we said purpose is not about yourself, it's about others, then you don't become selfish. We eliminate all these issues we're having with corruption, because the person doesn't know why someone would go and take money that is meant for a whole community.
Yes.
It's because he has no idea about purpose, and he thinks he'll be fulfilled by having all this money, but nothing can fulfill you until you are in purpose, and that purpose is actually to help other people. So we are Joseph generation. It's about solutions to others, and solutions in different fields. It can't be just that you're a mother to take care of a child who is going to be a king, and you have to devote yourself to that. And those are the issues we have. Everyone is trying to maybe now build a church. Not all of us are called to be pastors. And then you're going to hurt many people, if you're operating in the wrong purpose. You're going to hurt many people.
I think you, Chris, probably, Jonita, you want to tell us something, and Doctor will also do something to
so
have something to say about it.
I think the first thing that comes to mind is, what is purpose? Yeah, because you asked, when you wake up in the morning, what gets you up in the morning? So I think to put purpose in the layman's language is that purpose is my role or your role in the garden of life. Simply put, I will not be technical about it because sometimes we technicize things, yet they are as simple as that. It's your role. What is my role in the garden of life? I call it a garden because in there are, you know, life is full of ups, downs, shrubs, roses, thorns, you know, that is, but in life, in that garden, there's someone who is a shrub, then there's someone who is an apple tree, then someone who is an elephant, someone who provides dung to fertilize the ground. So what is your role in that journey? Yeah, and that is purpose. But you can only discover your purpose, like Chris said, when you know who you are. We start there. Yeah, you need to identify: are you a shrub? Are you a rose? Are you a thorn? Are you a cattle? What is it in that life? And that what comes to mind is the things that we value, my personality. Those are the things that help you discover purpose. Yeah, until you will discover that you're a thorn if you realize your personality is a strong one. Because thorns need to be strong, because they need to pierce and get people thinking that, you know, I'm here, you know.
Yeah.
So but you can't say a thorn is useless, because when it rots or it makes manure, yeah. Then there are roses, then there are apple trees, but the apple tree never eats its fruit. And that's where Chris comes from and says, purpose is not for you, it's for everyone else, because the apple tree will produce the apple, but it never eat it. Right? And that is what purpose is all about. So purpose is that role that you're going to play, but you need to be the tree to bear the fruit. Yeah, to play that role. And when you are the tree, someone else will consume of that fruit. So if you don't bear that fruit, you're risking the rest of the generation not to tap into what they need to tap in. So that's why for us it's critical for you to discover purpose, but it comes from a place of, do I know who I am? And then where do I draw my knowledge from? That's why it's between two things. Do you know who you are? And you should be brutal about yourself so that you establish your personality, you establish what are your experiences, you establish all those things. And then, where do you draw knowledge from? And that's why we end up being Christian founded, because for us, we draw knowledge from the Creator. So you put those two together, the Creator will tell you, this is why I created you, and then you put these other two things and say, I have a strong personality, I am talkative, I am that, I am this. Then you put these two together and say, I think I was created to be a fork. I think I was created to be a Mercedes. I think I was created to be something. So what is your role there to be, what role do you play in the game of life? That is your purpose.
Thank you. Doctor, anything to add there?
Yes, I think you said what I was trying to solve. We are trying to transform society through a mindset change, because leadership starts from inside a person. So mindset change, but you don't only stop at mindset change, because many motivational speakers all over the world talk about mindset changes. We also deal with the spiritual change, because when there is a mindset change in this nation, or in any nation, any society, people become more responsible, people love each other, people love society, people love their environment, people love their families, people love what they do, and people know why they're doing what they're doing. Because a lot of people end up doing mistakes, like in society, in our local communities, because they don't know why they're doing what they're doing, and they have a problem with the way they think about life. And even there has to be a spiritual change, because people have to know that our source is God, and we are accountable to God as leaders. Leaders have to know all over this country and any part of the world where you're watching from. You have got to know that you're accountable to God. You're accountable to God and also to fellow men. So whatever you do, you should do it knowing that God is watching, and one day you'll give an account for what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Yeah.
And via this is actually very, very important, because you are a potential leader if you're not one already.
Yes.
And also, you must know what your purpose in life is. Begin with your family. What is your purpose in your family before you even go to the people you lead, or
In
you know,
marriage.
the people you aspire, you aspire to lead. Actually, in marriage, that is something very, very important, because probably maybe today the husbands don't even understand what their purpose is in their marriages, their roles, and that's why probably we're even having so many problems in our marriages today.
because everything, every union, because purpose is about everyone else. We exist to complement each other. So if you don't establish the purpose for the union, especially marriage, which is so close to God's heart, by the way.
And that's why the devil hates it so much.
Exactly, because he knows once that purpose clicks, because remember, marriage is the beginning of everything. It's the beginning of family. So once that clicks, once the ministry of marriage clicks and you find the purpose why you're married to somebody, sometimes it's to save a life. Sometimes it's to turn people to Christ. Sometimes it's to use your marriage as an epitome to make people, admire and see what it is that God can do in marriages. So even in marriage, right there is purpose. Because remember, purpose is birthed from a place of many times discomfort. The things that we value, the things that make us angry, the things that I am very passionate about. Injustice. I hate injustice. So what does that do to me? It will brood something in me to find a solution to injustice. And that's how purpose is birthed. It's birthed from a place of discomfort, a place of I'm not comfortable with this. So if you're comfortable, then 90% of the time you're not in purpose. It should be birthed from a place of discomfort, because then you open up your mind, you open up your ideas to strategic solutions.
Interesting, actually, when you look at the three of you, one thing that comes to mind, both of you are born again, and you are leaders, and you know your purpose in life, and these are some of the things that you teach Ugandans, you tell the world, the people you meet, and also the people you lead. But actually, today, we were just discussing, people of God should actually not be leaders, because we were coming from the space of, we're discussing corruption actually. Then they're like, there are some leaders who actually shouldn't be leaders in this country because they are born again. And I'm like, it got me thinking, should born again people actually be in leadership positions, especially in some positions where you're going to step on people's shoes, because probably they have a long arm, and they want to stretch that arm and get what they are not supposed to get. What's your take on that? I'll begin with Chris.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say born again, and as our anchor scripture is that we are sons of God, and sons of God means actually that He has birthed you, and through that's is something about faith. But coming back to your point that born again should not be leaders is completely a misconception, because this whole earth first belongs to God, and He's the first leader, and that's why He's called the King of Kings. King is a leader, and David is an example of a leader. If you look through the Bible, actually, God used these people. Talk of Daniel, he was born again. In that sense, and God used him to actually provide solutions to the kingdom, to the level that he was actually the prime minister, and his friends actually became also rulers in some of the provinces. Everywhere, even Joseph himself was a Jew. Talk of Esther, we are supposed to be in these spaces to bring the will of God to pass and bring solutions. So, yes, we are supposed to be leaders.
Doctor, anything to add there?
Oh yes, the Bible says we are the light of the world. We are the light of the world. So it means we have got to show other people how it is done. And this country, Uganda, has been blessed by a lot of born again people who have been in leadership positions, and they have been stellar performers. I don't want to mention names, but we know them. And I remember some years ago, the government recognized that. So a lot of people were recruited because they know the born again person has the DNA of integrity. So leaders who believe in Christ, believers in Christ, or born again believers, have the DNA of integrity. Their Father, our Father, and our Master, Jesus Christ, He is the epitome of integrity.
Janita, your take on that as we close towards our first break.
I think it's not possible that we even imagine that leaders should not be born again. I think it should be the other way around. Every leader should be born again, because that's where it all starts. And like Dr. Etiang said, Jesus is the way. The leader shows the way. Yeah. So if Jesus is the way, and you're not anchored in Christ, then you have no business doing leadership. It's that simple. And there's no two ways around it. So you should have the right anchor to lead. Then you have, if you don't, you're not rooted in the right space, then you have no business leading others. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So I think you should have asked the question the other way. That's what I think.
And on that point, we're going to take a short break, but Talk Time returns shortly. Stay with us.
Inspirational moment with Pastor Jackson Senyonga of Christian Life Church, Kampala.
Performance-based parenting. Bana abazadde abakuliza kubeera nti olina okubaako kyokolo basanyusa. In your heart of heart, kati nga mutima gw'omuntu, now you hate performing. Toyagala kubaako ngeri gy'okola kintu kusanyusa muntu. You don't want to even succeed. Toyagala na kuwangula. Because it impaired your mind negatively. Kyalemaza obwongo bwo mu ngeri embi. Because that's how you used to prove yourself every day to your mama, to your father, to your parent. Kuba buli lunaku walina okakaaluka n'obeeko kyokolo sanyuse maama taata. Everything, your relationship was based on approvals. Enkolagana yo nga buli kaseera olina okubaako ky'okola balyoke bakuwane nti now you don't like to perform anymore. Even for yourself. You don't want to win anymore. Even for yourself. Because that's how you grew up and you hated it. It impaired you and impacted you negatively.
Inspirational moment with Pastor Jackson Senyonga.
And this is Talk Time here on UBC TV. A warm welcome to those of you just joining us. And tonight we are looking at purpose and leadership. What's at stake? Are our leaders in the country, do they know their purpose in life? Are they the leaders that we need to lead us? So these are some of the questions that our panelists here are answering. And on my immediate left is Mrs. Menya Joanita. Joanita is the founder of the Purpose and Leadership Forum Uganda chapter, but it was birthed in Kenya. She'll talk about it later on. And further on the left is Dr. Samuel Etiang. Dr. Etiang is a preacher, he's a businessman, he's a motivational speaker. He has so many hats that he wears. Further on my left is Mr. Crispus Omut, and he is the founder of the Labor Room initiative. It is an initiative that actually, mentors people from all walks of life, Christians and non-Christians alike. Yes, I'll begin with you, Joanita. We have had, everybody here has talked about PLF, Purpose and Leadership Forum. I think it's a great space for people to be in, and I understand you've been mentoring and teaching people. Many people actually have gone through this. Tell us the journey, and what have you noticed is the impact actually of those people who have been through PLF? Are they impacting society? What do you have to tell us?
Yeah. So thank you. For those who have just joined us, Purpose and Leadership Forum, PLF. So when I say PLF, I hope you can follow. The Purpose and Leadership Forum is a 12 weeks course that that intends to draw potential out of our leaders, and we believe not everyone is a leader. So we believe that the people who end up in the Purpose and Leadership Forum space are the people who are called to be leaders, and so. We mentor people, we coach, we draw potential, we help people discover purpose, we help them, and it's purely faith-founded for the reasons I've already spoken about. We believe that our purpose is drawn from God. So we are faith-founded, and we help people draw potential. And what has been the impact? I cannot quantify the impact, because we've seen people discover themselves. Yeah,
and that is the most important thing.
Absolutely, because that's where purpose starts. Do you know yourself? Yeah? Do you know what your strengths are? Do you know what your values are? Do you know what your passion is? And therefore, how does that fit with your purpose, what you're called to do. So we've seen people, it has introduced people to themselves. People have discovered things, it has unearthed things within people that they didn't know they could do. Yeah, Crispus is an example. A ministry has been birthed out of PLF. Crispus did not imagine one day he would have a ministry, you know, but there we are. We have Labor Room running, and so it gives people the, once you know yourself, you get the right anchor space to aim at where you want to go. Yeah. So after we've done that, that's what PLF has done. It has held people accountable, first of all, because once you go through PLF space, there are things you can't do, because it shifts your mindset completely, and it gets you into the servant mode. Yeah, because essentially that's what purpose is about. It gets you into the servant mode. I am here to serve. I am not here for myself. I'm here for my children, my family, my husband, my friends, my workplace. I'm a marketplace leader. My workplace is important. What am I telling my employees? How am I leading them? So that's what purpose leadership has done. It has shifted mindsets. It has added value to people who thought we were nothing. They've discovered they're actually much bigger than they are. Yeah, every day you get shocked by who you are. And then it had gotten people aligned to the original intent of what God created them to be. And there's nothing as peaceful as that. So we've birthed leaders, we've birthed leaders with substance, if you know what I mean. Leaders that can stand for what they believe in, leaders with high integrity levels, leaders who believe in service. Yeah. So I think the impact of PLF cannot be measured, but one day the world would know.
I know some actually. I met a few of the people who have gone through PLF, and they're like, you know what? We are having some presidents here, or members of parliament from just a few
Yes.
weeks they had spent there, and yes, many people have actually gone through that. You said it's a 12
weeks course. Right now we are doing season 6. We do 2 seasons a year. And so you go 12 weeks straight, and then you are commissioned into the marketplace.
And the different
yes.
topics and classes that
different themes. We pray about it. God gives us the themes, and then we run the class, and every theme, every person who goes into a theme is chosen for that theme.
Okay.
Somehow, and it's not me who chooses; it's God who chooses. That's why you don't see us advertising PLF, because we believe you come to PLF space when you're ready to birth. Wow. So it's a place for pregnant people. Pregnant in the spirit.
Not as in,
Yeah, not as pregnant, but pregnant in the spirit.
Yes.
Pregnant, ready to birth visions, pregnant, ready to birth ideas, ready to birth networks, ready to birth strategic ideas. So we help you birth that you have come with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Probably something to add there before you go to Chris.
Just briefly, for me, what is priceless to me is the transformation in the people who attend PLF. There is a 360-degree turnaround in the lives of the people. I've watched them for 6 seasons, and I've seen acceleration, I have seen growth, I have seen expansion, I've seen promotion. Even Juanita is not talking, but she has
There's something she's hiding. I know. I'll get to her.
She's hiding something. But a lot of people are like her. They have experienced acceleration. All of us have had
Divine acceleration.
Divine acceleration. And impact. Each of these people, even all of us here and others who are not here, many others who are here. I've met Kenyans, Tanzanians, I've met people from Europe, from Geneva, and from the US, from elsewhere, who have gone through the PLF program. They have had impact which you can't even measure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And we are very, very important here, because the moment you get to know your purpose, then you know what you are created for. You know what you can do for this nation, but also for your family, because it begins from that. It begins with your family, and then it spreads to other people, the people you lead, and of course where you work. Chris, the labor room, I'm intrigued with this labor room. But tell us, in the labor room you mentor people. Did you realize that probably so many people really needed mentorship, because probably they are not, they are lacking something as far as finding their purpose in life is concerned?
Very much so. And that's why actually I was really led to start the labor room, because I had been in and about in many places. I've been privileged to travel a lot in Africa and outside Africa, and in churches and in marketplaces, and I've seen that there is a big gap of what I call fatherhood is lacking. Because what happened to me, they talk of divine acceleration here, is that I was transformed in a short space of time. Some of the things are very spiritual. You find people that were not able to get married in a long time, just attending that course. That course, the PLF, for me, it's not about doing a course, it's an experience. Because you find people who have not been married, getting married in 1 month time. Like, it's crazy. People who are looking to do their PhDs, getting sponsorship, things happening on a very divine scale, and people were promoted to CEOs, MDs. It's crazy, and it is priceless. There are many things that I struggled with in the spiritual space, and I had never really got a father figure. I have a great father, but in the marketplace and in the spiritual space, I had never gotten that father figure. And with me, I am really privileged. With my father and mother, who are my real mentors, and there are many things that have transpired. There are things that I used to take a whole year to do. There are anointings that I have that I cannot start speaking here. And when I talk about the labor room, so it happened to me actually, because I can be in a certain space and I can start feeling some things, I know things. And this is the divine space that we are talking about, divine solutions that are not just coming from what you've learned from school. Yes, I'm an engineer, by the way, but there are some solutions that I bring for my company.
I'm not just an engineer in the oil and gas field.
Yes, that's why I'm really passionate, because right now for Uganda, my heart goes out, because I feel that Uganda is a very, very special country for Africa, and I feel that it's the moment. One of the anointings I have is to know the times. There's something called the Sons of Issachar, and we know the times when what needs to be done should be done. And I feel that for Uganda in this oil era, we are about to rewrite our history, and that's why I always pray for our leaders, that they may have the spirit of fatherhood, because we tap it from the example of Jesus and his natural father Joseph. Joseph was around only until Jesus was 12 years, you see, but he had taught him how to do carpentry and all that, and that's what leaders should do. Do what you can do early, and these are the things that we should instill in the people that we lead, to inspire them to greater heights. So there are many things that we give birth to. Actually, I call myself a midwife in the spirit sense.
Yes, because you're in the labor room.
Because I'm in the labor room. So, but I have an ability to see some anointings that people have. I have interesting things that happen to me in PLF that I can't start saying now, but they have impacted me and have impacted so many other people. There are people who were barren, who got pregnant. There are many different things that I can. For me, PLF is not even a course; it's an experience where God divinely meets you, and this is what we're talking about, divine encounters. But you need to have destiny helpers, people who are gurus in the market. If it's IT, if it's media, all this right now, as Uganda develops in this, we need to mentor people to be able to absorb the monies that are going to come, so that we can change our society.
Thank you so much, Chris. Very, very interesting there. And in these last few minutes, Joanita, of course, there's something that comes to me: branding. And each person has a purpose in life. And you earlier on, you said something about branding, and it really tickled my mind. How do you connect this? Because the interconnection is there, but how how do you connect purpose to that? Because what I see now is that actually purpose can help in even economically developing this country of ours.
Yeah. So I think for me, purpose is life. Okay. Because, and why do I say purpose is life? Because I am a marketer by experience, now a marketplace leader, but even our brands that we work with, I'm sure UBC has a tagline. Yeah, I don't know what that tagline is.
We inspire Uganda.
You inspire Uganda. So what's your purpose? UBC is a media house. If a media house has purpose, you cannot walk with the head on your shoulders and you're purposeless. We start there. So same to the brands, and it gets you thinking, if even the brands we work on, yeah, of course, as a marketer, my passion is brands, but even on the brands we work on, even a brand has purpose, yeah, that which the brand was made for, okay, yeah. So if the brand has purpose, even when you're thinking for that brand, what to do for that brand to grow it, and think of that, the creator of that brand as your creator up there. Me, who is creating the brand, every time I think about it, I think about everything to do with its purpose. If a brand is to birth, when I'm creating a promotion, I create a promotion around birth time, isn't it? So every time we are living in our purpose, our creator aligns that for us. He aligns our life for us, because if Juanita, my purpose is to rebuild foundations, for example, yeah, I rebuild foundations. So by rebuilding foundations, I break, because to rebuild you have to break and reconstruct, yeah. So I rebuild foundations in the marketplace, in families, and in governance, and to secure the future generations. That's my purpose. So every time God is dealing with Juanita, He deals with me in alignment with that purpose. So because I need to rebuild foundations, He will place me in roles that will enable me to do that. Yeah, and that's why purpose is completely aligned to life. Because He equips you for as much as how far you go in your purpose. Yeah? And like I told you, my purpose is rebuilding. I have to have a strong personality because I have to break. Right? So, and those who know me know that I have a very strong personality. But it's not that strong personality for nothing. It is for me to learn the purpose that God created me for. Yeah, but I had to find that strong personality and tell myself, this is Juanita, I am strong like this, these are my areas, and therefore what was God thinking when He was creating me? So that's how we think. So while you are living in purpose, God creates what fits in your purpose to make sure it's landed in full. So it's important that as a person you have something that drives you so that God can align what His plans are for you to fit that purpose to land all for His glory.
Thank you so much, Juanita. Purpose and leadership intertwined, they go hand in hand. Yes, as we come to the end, Doctor, I'd like you to give us your final words in as far as leadership is concerned. What advice are you giving leaders from a biblical point of view? Because today we find that most of our leaders, we find them in newspapers, on TV, talking about them negatively.
Yeah, my final word to every leader out there watching, every person aspiring for leadership, if you're watching and you want to be a leader of this country or your society or your nation where you're watching from, the first and the most important starting point is a relationship with Jesus Christ. You need a relationship with Jesus Christ because He is the ultimate leader. In fact, the Bible calls Him the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. He is master over all. He is the best example, the best inspiration, the best father, the best mentor you can ever have as a leader. And He will give you, because when you receive Jesus in your life, you actually receive new DNA. Because when children are born, they receive the DNA of their father and their parents, their father, mother. So when you give your life to Jesus, you are actually getting the DNA of Christ in you. And that DNA will not allow you to be embroiled in corruption, in evil, in nepotism, in anything that is against a society. You will be a builder, not a destroyer. You will be a lifter, not a breaker. You will encourage people. You will have sons after you in that leadership space. and your name will be remembered for good things. But many of our leaders have been disgraced and have left disgraced because they choose other things other than Christ.
Thank you so much, Dr. Etiang. Chris, your parting shot.
Yeah, for me it's all about purpose. Like Juanita said, without purpose, it's useless for you to be living on earth. So my thing is that everyone, everywhere, must cry out to God to find out what their purpose is, because then you will be fulfilled. And because what happens with purpose is that there are enablements that are given to you, divine, and some of them will be skills that enable you to fulfill that purpose, and that's the only way to live a very fulfilled life. And you can find this also in the labor room. So yeah,
Yes,
I would
the
encourage
labor room.
people to join this.
Don't worry about this room. You're not going to get the labor pains, but it is all about good things in that labor room. Yes, Juanita, as we come to the end.
As we come to the end, I think it's possible to live life in full and live life in abundance. It is possible. You can be a mother, a marketplace leader, a minister, a businesswoman. That is Juanita. You can actually live life in full. But you need to have the right foundation. For as long as, because the foundation, how deep rooted you are, determines how high you go. That's why when you're building a storied building, you don't put a shaky foundation.
The foundation
right?
has to go deep.
Absolutely. So I think it depends, how far you want to go depends on how deep you're rooted. But you need to be rooted in the right place. Because if you're rooted in the wrong place, you know what I mean?
And then the building will go
and
down.
then the building will go down. Absolutely. So check your foundations. What are those things that you have founded on? For example, my anchor verse is Philippians 4:13.
Philippians 4:13. You
I
can
can
get
do
that.
all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Indeed.
And when you see this little woman, she can do all things through Christ who strengthens her. So deep rooted in the right foundations, and the sky's the limit.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Via. We've come to the end of this very, very interesting show this Monday. Purpose and leadership. Those are two things that we really need to think about every morning when we get out of our beds. Actually, before we get out of our beds, what is your purpose in life? Are you living your purpose for your family, for your immediate community, and for this nation we call Uganda, the part of Africa that we so love? And also leadership. Are we really doing the right thing as far as leadership is concerned, or we are just there because we need to get out what we can and then run away? Do we really have Uganda at heart? That is what it means by purpose and leadership. Juanita Menya has been my immediate neighbor here on my left, and Dr. Samson Etiang is also a preacher. He has a Bible here actually. It's just that we didn't get time, but he would have got to read for us these verses. He's also a business person. But further on my left there is none other than Mr. Crispus Omut, who is the bearer of the vision of the labor room. And the labor room is not that other labor room that we're used to, but this is a space where you too can go to and be mentored to do the things that will benefit you as a person, but also benefit this nation called Uganda. Thank you so much for watching Talk Time. But up next year on UBC TV is News Tonight with Luke Homer. Stay tuned and good night.
Studies have shown that many workers in informal employment lack access to green technology, formal training, exposure, and access to social security systems. It is the absence of these important attributes that are responsible for low-quality products and the precarious nature of informal employment sectors like the Jua Kalis. These are small-scale crafts or artisanal works with bare necessities that pose health hazards to the workers and the environment. To tackle this problem, the government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, drew up the Green Jobs Program to transform 1 million Jua Kali business units with the provision of green technology training, tools and equipment, as well as certification and accreditation. So far, 3,800 Jua Kalis in Greater Kampala are beneficiaries of the program.
What we have been doing is to help Jua Kalis with the tools in order to do better production.
Youth and women groups have also received support with innovation grants.
Last year, we are considered by the ministry and we are given 2 machines which we are really using.
350,000 others have been assessed and await their turn. The ministry has drafted apprenticeship training orders and Ugandan National Work-Based Learning Policy as they guide stakeholders on quality apprenticeships.
I've known how to interact with people, how to do work.
To benefit from this program, visit the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development website and register for needs assessment or call 0414 434 854 or 0414 435 572.